So I've basically boiled it down, these $1 trillion spending, $6 trillion in 4 years. You cannot fathom how much money that is. But it's that's why inflation was so bad and still remains pretty bad, is because they dumped $6 trillion over 4 years. It'll reach that. It's kind of hard to calculate exactly how much, but it's a ton of money. Three motives, I would say, why they pass these things. Number one is welfare to oligarchs. I mean, George Soros, Bill Gates, they all have private investments. That's how they became billionaires. Bill Gates has Breakthrough Energy Ventures. Mark Zuckerberg is a major investor, and several other of the left-wing tech elites are investors in this Breakthrough Energy Ventures. There's a bunch of others. Bill Gates has Cascade Investments, et cetera. Those things all have, green technology companies. Bill Gates has his Terra Power. That's a small modular nuclear reactor. That's gotten over $100 million in taxpayer funding. So a lot of these so-called green energy technologies that these guys have major shares in, Rivian, for example, the truck company, Bezos, Soros, both major investors. They lost their shirts when Rivian went down. And so what does Joe Biden do? Gives Rivian a $6.6 billion loan guarantee on the way out the door in December of 2024. So that's motive number one, is just pure welfare for oligarchs, propping up their companies that couldn't make it on their own. Motive number two is kind of what I just talked about with the protests, and this is where USAID might fall in, where the NGOs are actually achieving political purposes. This is actually, in my opinion, a little more nefarious than just straight handouts to billionaires. This is where they're actually funding their political movements with your tax dollars. I mean, that would actually outrage most people, is that, when you have a riot in your city or something, your city's getting burned down by Molotov cocktails and rioters and arsons and vehicles, that a single penny would come from taxpayers should be an outrage. And it's millions and millions and billions of dollars that these left-wing groups and NGOs funded by USAID, who are doing the same thing, color revolution type stuff in other countries, by the way. That's outrageous. I would say the trickier and more complicated motive number three is they're actually waging war on you, not just through political NGOs, but by changing the entire system. They are waging war on middle America. There would be people like Bill Gates, George Soros, the political left. I wrote a book called The Controligarchs, the word control and oligarchs. They are waging war right now, obviously, on the fossil fuel industry. Historically, people in the fossil fuel carbon energy industry, carbon-based energy companies, historically, those are right-wing donors. They lean right-wing. Wildcatters in Texas, coal miners in West Virginia. They are trying to and successfully bankrupting that very critical industry in America by raising all kinds of emissions, all kinds of regulations. We could spend a whole episode talking about the war on oil and gas, but just boil it down to Joe Biden's statement before he got elected, which was, I promise you, he says to some woman at a campaign rally, I promise you, we are going to put the fossil fuel industry out of business. So they are waging war on carbon. They're also waging war on farmers. They are waging war in all kinds of different ways on our farmers, which is all of middle America. Those are the flyover states, the ones they don't care about very much. And so they are taking off the chessboard, trying to anyway, the people who make this country work. And meanwhile, Bill Gates, Bezos, Zuckerberg, they're all invested in these alternative proteins. They think that we want to eat like Beyond Meat or Impossible Foods. Consumers have rejected that. But when your steak prices keep going up at the supermarket, and now it's $30-40 for a ribeye, it's going to become a delicacy, and you might end up resorting to some of these alternative protein type foods. And so it's really a 1-2-3 punch against their political opponents, and they're using your money to do it. It's dark stuff.